Hi y'all, today we'll be working on a split color cat ear beanie. The only stitches you'll need to know how to do is slip stitching, double crochet, and chaining. Thank you so much for tuning in and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Alrighty, to begin you'll need scissors, tapestry needle, and stitch markers, along with a 5mm crochet hook and at least 200 yards of yarn that's a weight 4. I use 2 colors to make the hat, but if you want to use 1 color or even more, that's up to you. To start it off, I'm going to chain 80. That will fit an adult size head. If you want to make it smaller or less long, you can use a chain 60. To start a chain, you need to create a slip knot. I yarn over my finger and then under to make an X with the yarn. Slip the loop off my finger and pull the back loop through the main loop. And then attach to the crochet hook. To chain, you're going to yarn over the hook and pull through the loop and just repeat that over and over. So hold your hook like this, yarn over the yarn, pull through the loop. That's going to be 1 chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complete this until you have a long enough chain that will go from the front of your head to the back of your head, or just use my recommended size for a chain 80. Once done chaining, you're going to chain 2 more, and then we're going to double crochet into the 3rd chain. So 1, 2. The 2 chains help for keeping the work even when we're starting our new rows. To double crochet, you're going to yarn over, hook through the stitch. Remember, we're going through the 3rd loop. Yarn over, pull through the stitch so that there's 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. Yarn over, pull through the last 2. And then repeat that process all the way down the chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. When ending your rows, make sure to chain 2 and then flip your project. After your first row is done, it will look like this. Repeat double crocheting for a total of 9 rows if you want to do the split color. If you don't, then you can continue until you have 18 total rows of double crocheting. I'm now getting towards the end of my 9th row of 80 double crochets across. I'm going to stop right before the last stitch so that I can change the color of my yarn, since I'm doing a split color hat. Alrighty, there's my last stitch. I'm going to pick my 2nd color that I'm going to be using. If you're not using 2 colors, say you're only using 1 or you want to use multiple, just make sure you have 18 total rows of double crochets. Alrighty, to attach the new color, yarn over, enter the last stitch, pull, pull through 2, and stop there while you've got 2 on the hook. We're going to take this new color. I hold mine like this. Make sure you give it a decent tail because we're going to tie that off. Attach it onto the hook like so. Pull through the last 2. Now we have our new color. We're going to go ahead, take our scissors, cut the old color. And what I do is I just double knot them together. I don't pull tight on the first one or else it'll shrink up the stitch and make it tight. But on the second knot, I pull tightly. Now we have our new color. We're going to continue what we were doing, chaining 2, flipping the project. What I like to do is I'll take these extra strings and I'll just work them in under the next double crochets. If you don't know how to do that, you can just weave them in or cut them off towards the end. We're going to continue with double crocheting across for a total of 9 more rows, making sure you're ending with 18 rows total. I have now finished my 9th row of this gold color for a total of 18 rows for the whole hat. You'll see it's decently long. Now what we're gonna do next, you're not gonna cut off your yarn or anything, you're gonna keep your hook attached through that last loop. You're going to take this long end, you're gonna fold it in half, and we're gonna be slip stitching these stitches up here on both sides together. That's gonna be the side seam of the hat. You're gonna wanna make sure you line that up. We're gonna keep our project just like this, no chaining, and flip over. So now this loop is in the front. It may be hard to see, but we're going to go through that top stitch right there. But you want this yarn to go over. So go through that top stitch. And then you're going to go to the other side and you're going to find that very first stitch and go through it as well. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through that very first loop. That is how we're going to join these two sides. We're going to slip stitch all the way down. Through the stitch, pull through the loop. And then I'll meet you at the end for how I end it. I'm now getting towards the end of being able to slip stitch these stitches together. It may get hard near the end, but just do your best to find those stitches. And I've got one left right here. Pull it through. Now this is how I fasten mine off. Some people will just cut their string right here, but I like to make sure to make a knot so that it doesn't come undone. We're going to chain 1, chain 2, get the scissors, cut, and then you just pull it through. And then you can take your fingers, pull the string, you'll be pulling the knot down, makes it nice and secure. And that is one side of our seam done. This is the outer part of the hat. So this is what the inside, that will be the outside, looks like. I'm now going to pick up my other color, and what we're going to do to attach this, we're going to create a slip knot. Put it on our hook. And we're going to find the beginning and end stitches. They may be hard to find because this is the foundation chain, but you can see loop right there, another loop, another loop, another one. It may be hard because this yarn is a dark color, but just try your best. Find that first loop. Now pick up your other side. Find that first loop right there. There's the first one. Go through. Move those tails to the side. Pull through both stitches, pull through that initial loop and tighten. And just continue slip stitching both sides together again to create the side seam of the hat. I'm now getting near the end of finishing this side seam. It's a little hard to find the stitches. Just trying my best. Alrighty, now I'm going to chain 1, 2, cut, pull the knot tight. This is going to be the top of our hat. These are where our ears are going to be formed from. And then here is the bottom of our hat with our opening. And now we're going to move on to the ear part. Now for our ear part, we're going to need our tapestry needles, 4 stitch markers, our scissors, and then we'll only need our crochet hook for a little bit. Along with, we're going to need to cut at least enough string to work our way through and back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that so I can have my yarn ready. And that is all we're going to need to go ahead and start on our ears. What you're going to do, we're going to take our hat, we're going to turn it inside out, which is going to be the right side way out of our beanie. Make sure you work out those corners real good. You want them to be nice and pointy. Make sure to stretch it out if you need to. Make sure it's all nice and even. Alrighty. Now what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be marking the inside and the outside mark of our ears. What I like to do, since I have the color split, I can tell this is my middle right here. I like to leave a space of 4 double crochets. So 1, 2 right here. After the 2, I'm going to make a marker right there. 1, 2. After the 2, another marker. Now what I like to do for getting the outside measurement of the ear, I'll go ahead and take the string and I'll lay it across until it looks like a good triangle. But at the same time, you don't want it bigger than your pinky or else you're going to have a big ear. that right about there. Now I will follow that one kind of along with this stitch marker. Kind of right there it looks like. Make sure that looks good. Alrighty. Now you're gonna need to break out your crochet hook. I'm gonna start with my gold side over here. I'm going to take the extra string that we made. I'm going to make a slip knot. You don't need the tail to be super long, but long enough to tie it towards the end. Put it on your hook. And what I like to do to attach this, because we're actually going to be sewing this string into it, but I like to attach it at that top marker. Sometimes I'll take it out. Yarn over, pull through the loop, and then I'll pull the yarn all the way through. And then the yarn is attached and ready to sew. For the sewing technique that I use, I just go under, over, under, over. I try and I hold the piece in the straight line that I need to sew in. Go ahead and attach your tapestry needle. And we're going through both sides with the under, over, under, over. So under, over, under, over, all the way back to right by where that stitch marker is. And now we have that sewn in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna scrunch it up a bit. And that is what's gonna make our ear. You don't wanna do it too tight because then it's not gonna give you much room, but you don't want it too loose either because you want it to hold a shape. So make sure you're holding it tight once you get it in the shape that you want. And we are going to start under, over, all the way back to the other side. Alrighty, want to make sure your ear's holding a good shape that you like. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take these two tail ends and we're going to tie them together using 2 knots. So 1 knot, 2. And then at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave in those ends. And now we're going to go and do the other side. So you're going to repeat the whole thing over again. slip knot, attach to the top, make sure your triangle is the shape that you want, under, over, pull tightly, under, over, double knot. Now that your cat ear beanie is done, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna weave in all the extra ends that we have. For the top, for these ones, I like to use my crochet hook. I'll do my best to try and find where the strings are, and I will pull them right through the project. Alrighty, then you might have some more. I've got these right here. I had already worked in mine from when we changed the color right over here. I'd already worked that one in. So I'm gonna tie these. Then I'm going to take my tapestry needle, feed them both through. Then we're going to start weaving this through here, so that you can just blend those extra strings right in. If you got a little left, just take your scissors and pull it. You might have a couple long ones on the inside from pulling in those ears too. Just take it. Cut. Cut. And then your cat ear beanie is done. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed your hat. If you liked it, subscribe and stay tuned for more, because next week I'm going to be showing y'all how to make this cute top.